What's up, guys? What's going on? Welcome back to another live stream. Excuse me. Thank you all for being here again. Make sure before you leave the bar today, pay your bar tabs, like the video, and hit that subscribe button if you have not already. At 10,000 subscribers, we are going to be giving away 10,000 Caspa. I don't know when that 10,000 subscribers is going to come because things are rough right now. Subscriber counts are barely moving at all. I think in the top 100 YouTubers, they're losing a million subscribers per day or something like that. I'm not in that category, but I definitely probably even feel it more than them. So, price is down. People don't want to watch YouTube videos. That's basically what it is. So, hitting that subscribe button does help a lot, obviously, and liking the video. And leave a comment. Get your comments and questions in, and we will go over them second half of the video. Today's video is going to be a touch shorter than normal because I got babysitting duties later tonight. The fiance has to leave and go to work. So, now that that's out of the way. Also, I want to ask you guys, I just realized most of you guys that are in here right now probably watch my pre-recorded videos, and I got a new intro to those videos. It seems to be the sentiment seems to be good around the new intro, but you know what I forgot? That the cat meow is not in that intro video. And I was going to ask you guys if that's something I should add back in, because I didn't even think about it. And that's basically the meow that I've used since day one on my videos. So I was just curious what your guys' thoughts were, or does it even matter? Maybe you don't care. But let me know if you guys care one way or another. I can add it back in if I need to. Today, actually kind of a decently big day, for the overall markets and macro. Things aren't looking good right now, obviously, but it's the behind the scenes stuff that really matter. Because it's all going to lead up, to what we're going to, hopefully see later on this year, or possibly, moving into next year. Markets, let's see. Franny, happy Friday from New York. 8 p.m. over there, huh? And Dad Journey, hey Cat, fellow Caspians, always a pleasure to be back together again. Stay strong, have conviction, absolutely. And then Abel, as in keeping it. I'm gonna keep the existing intro, the new intro to my videos, but my question was, should I add the cat meowing back into that intro at the very end? Anyways, let's jump in, because as most of you guys know, Donald Trump has appointed the new Fed chair, right? And that's a big deal because, or he hasn't appointed him. Well, he's technically appointed him, but he doesn't take office or, take over that position. I think until May, I think it is. So kind of towards the middle of the year. But his choice was interesting. And I have a few comments on it. If I can get my internet to pop up here. I don't know what's going on. Here we go. I was looking at the crypto bubbles earlier, which don't look very good today, huh? Everything's kind of red. We kind of stair-step down. Bitcoin did again to 83. Real quick before we jump into the Fed chair, I think I want to give you guys my opinion on what I think is going to happen. And I've said this before, but I think going into the summer months, I think we're going to see some more red. I think things are going to get weird. I think that there's going to be a lot of stuff happening leading up to the new Fed chair. And when that new Fed chair takes office, I think we're going to be at what I think might be the possible lows for the year. We might double bottom later on in the year, but I think we're going to get our first low and probably roughly where, bottom is going to sit. Bitcoin's bottom is going to sit for this year, around that point in time when the new Fed chair takes office. I think the stock markets in between, now and then will probably collapse. I think metals will start, their blow off top will be over. And that's what I think is going to initiate the interest rates being, forced to be dropping again, as well as more liquidity being brought into the market. Because as long as the stock market is, doing okay, then there's no need for the Fed to cut rates. Because that kind of, not directly, but it gives the illusion that the economy's fine, right? If the stock market's okay, the economy's okay. And I think what's going to need to happen is the stock market to take quite a bit of a correction, a dip, in order for the current macro conditions to really turn that 180 that we're looking for, and then things can start climbing higher. But just keep an eye out for that. I think sometime in the summer, maybe early summer, around May, I think we're going to see, in that time period, probably 60 to 70K Bitcoin. And then I think that's roughly going to be the low, but we might double bottom later on in the year. Remember, we need that to happen, though, in order for... because what that means is the stock market's probably crashing at that point. Gold and silver finally started coming down. Things look really bleak and grim, and that's going to kind of force the hand of the Fed to start really cutting rates. And who knows? It's midterm year. Maybe we get another pandemic scare. I'm sure they have something drawn up on their drawing board behind the scenes to try and make things weird this year. So, but Altcoin Daily posted this video, and I don't know how to take this because some of the comments are funny as well, but take a listen.
You made reference to Bitcoin, and I thought I heard a little bit of condescension that people are buying Bitcoin and these things.
But doesn't it, Charlie Munger, this is 2 or 3 years before he died, Charlie Munger attacked Bitcoin. He called it evil, in part because it would begin to undermine the Fed's ability to manage the economy.
Or it could provide market discipline, or it could tell the world that things need to be fixed.
Bitcoin does not make you nervous.
Bitcoin does not make me nervous. I can hearken back to a dinner I had here in 2011 with someone who is another guest on your show. I won't say his name. I just did Mark Andreessen, who showed me the white paper. That was the original white paper. I wish I had understood as clearly as he did how transformative Bitcoin and this new technology would be. Bitcoin doesn't trouble me. I think of it as an important asset that can help inform policymakers when they're doing things right and wrong. It is not a substitute to the dollar. I think it can often be a very good policeman for policy. And if I were to speak more broadly to what did Charlie Munger and others perhaps have in mind, there is a proliferation of securities that go under all sorts of names. Many, if not most of them, are not worth what they might be being traded for. So what did Charlie say, and maybe his pal Warren say? There's the innovators, the imitators, and the incompetents. They're real innovators that are happening in and around that new technology. And what I would try to impart towards businesses and bankers is that the underlying technology that Mark showed me in that white paper, or tried to show me in that white paper, it's just software. It's just the newest, coolest software that will provide us an ability to do things that we could never have done before. Can the software be used?
Okay, I don't know why, I didn't realize it was 2.5 minutes long, but that's what I wanted to show you guys. The newest and coolest software. That sounds like he has no idea what he's talking about, in my opinion. But I guess all the other stuff, I mean, it's good that he's pro Bitcoin, right? Kevin Warsh, I forgot to mention his name, although you can probably see it at the top of the screen. It's just the way he said that was weird. The newest, coolest software, because to me, it's not very new. Maybe it is to some people. I guess it's cool software, but like back in 2009, it was the newest, coolest software. Today, it's not necessarily. It's more of, it can't really do much of anything except for be a store of value. But I guess nonetheless, he's positive. He's more positive on the crypto side than I think Jerome Powell technically was. I did a little bit of, it was just a Google search on this gentleman here, Kevin Warsh. And I want to read this to you. Let me blow it up so you guys can see it better. So it says, as a former Fed governor, I guess he was a former Fed governor and Wall Street banker, Warsh was fixated on threats posed by surging prices and artificially cheap financing costs, which suggest that he's cautious about cutting rates too quickly. That view runs counter to Trump's insistence that Powell's replacement swiftly bring down short-term interest rates, which risks overstimulating as a fast-growing economy that's still wrestling with elevated inflation. So I think it does say down here, though, that over the past year, Warsh has said that he agrees with Trump's view that borrowing costs should fall, but he's also argued against the Fed's prior interventions in markets to spur growth, and that its bloated balance sheet led to financial excess by contrast, another finalist for the job. So it doesn't sound like he's as dovish as, we would have thought the new selection of Fed chair would have been. I don't know exactly what's going to happen. I'm hoping that we don't necessarily get, but this could also be part of, the plan of tanking the stock market as well. So he's initially going to come out as kind of, hawkish. Things might, everybody in the market is going to be like, oh crap, we got to deal with this again. Things will fall a little bit, and then, they turn on the printers and start cutting rates after that fact. I don't know exactly what's going to happen, but he does seem a little more hawkish and a little more conservative than, the Fed governor that we thought we were probably going to get from the Trump administration. But again, the moral of every story here is not trying to stress yourself out with what has to happen here, and just understand that probably what we want to get in the end is going to happen. We just don't know exactly when it's going to happen. And so the scenario of just buying crypto, waiting, chilling out, buying crypto, and waiting till you get rich is literally the easiest and best strategy to go with. Because Jerome Powell, remember, as hawkish as we think Jerome Powell is, right? He was appointed in 2018, which was a bear market, right? And we had a full-on 2020 and 2021 with him as the Fed chair, raging bull market, and he got reelected or reappointed. I don't know if it's an election or appointee by Biden in 2022 as well. So he did technically 2 terms. But Trump appointed him back in 2018 when he was in office, and then Biden reappointed him. But I guess the relevance there is just the bull market is going to happen regardless who is in office presidency-wise and who is Fed chair. It's just a matter of time, because we've had bull markets with Democrat presidents and Republican presidents, and we've also had them with, hawkish Fed chairs as well. And so I don't think it's going to matter one way or another. I think everything is planned out already. There's a method to what they're doing, and when they're ready, then we just need to make sure that we're ready, because they will send markets when they're ready. And that's basically the bottom line of it. So I wouldn't be too bent out of shape one way or another with this. I think we're all just kind of tired of Jerome Powell, so I think any new face is probably going to be good. And I imagine, Trump appointed him, so I imagine he aligns with what, at least somewhat, right? Probably more than somewhat with what Trump wants to do, because I'm assuming they've had plenty of conversations. So we should be fine. Hash rate here is continuing to stay solid at like 4.5 or 450, 460 P8 petahash. Remember, it went down all the way into the low 300s and then kind of bounced back up, and it kind of looks like we're holding a floor here. I know there's more nuances to hash rate than just, price goes down, it goes down, market cap goes down, hash rate goes down. That's like surface level. There's obviously more nuances behind the scenes, but you have to remember that Bitcoin's hash rate goes up and down too. Every proof of work project, the hash rate goes up and down. And so as long as the team is still building, and they are, Egra Labs is around the corner to be launching, and then we're going to see the KII and all the stuff they're doing. That will hopefully be helping out drastically with the fee structure, issue, and the security budget issue when we get to that point, which is coming somewhat fast. But what I was going to do is show you guys that Egra was doing 3,500 transactions an hour again. That was either earlier today or yesterday I saw that. And then I come here to make this video again, and it's back at 0. So they were testing yesterday, and they're not testing again today. I can never catch it on stream. So, anyways, I'm going to move to the, I guess the connection between the title of this video was the whole new Fed chair, right? Is that going to be good or bad for crypto? And I think it's not going to matter. I think ultimately it's going to be good because you got to remember the powers that be are going to want another bull market, right? And they're probably going to want another bull market outside of just Bitcoin in the crypto space because a lot of them probably own Ethereum and Solana, right? And so when Ethereum and Solana start to run, when macro conditions are, more conducive to risk-on assets and really far down the risk curve assets, which is altcoins, all the other altcoins should follow. And so I'm not worried at all. I mean, crypto's the newest technology, besides maybe like AI is kind of come on the scene, but that's not really the same, right? They're two different asset classes. And I think everything eventually is going to be built on crypto rails, blockchain rails. And so I don't think it's going away. I think we're just in a period of time where literally the macro conditions just haven't been conducive for people to feel comfortable, like retail, right? To come back in and feel comfortable putting their money in, gambling altcoins because they don't feel rich when quantitative tightening is going on. And so it's just a matter of time. And I'm going to say that every single day. It's just a matter of time. And you need to chill out. You need to buy crypto. And you need to wait to get rich. That is the theme of this channel now. And I'm going to tell you guys, you follow me long enough, you're going to see it play out. Patience is key. Even though we didn't get everything we wanted on the timetable that we all wanted it or expected it, that doesn't mean it's not going to happen. That just means it's not going to happen yet. So check this out. This is a site I look at a lot. I just wanted to bring it to your guys' attention real quick because I think that it's a very useful site. It's called DeFi Llama. Some of you guys probably already know what it is. And I like to look at the TVL, total value locked, on all of these different protocols. Okay? Obviously at the top we've got Ethereum, Solana, Binance, Bitcoin, Tron, Base. It'll tell you here, you can't see my mouse, it'll tell you over here how many protocols on that chain are available, right, for DeFi use and locking in value on that chain. So some of these have a ton of protocols that you, like on Ethereum, there's 1,700 protocols that you can lock money away and, create value for that chain. And I wanted to come down here and look, because I haven't been on DeFi Llama in a while, and this is what I used to look at a lot to see. This was last cycle when I was, into Solana pretty heavily. I wanted to see Solana's total value locked and it to keep climbing, because what that tells you is the value of that chain. People are trusting it, people are using it, and people are putting their money into that chain and locking it up to add value to the chain and the protocol. And a lot of times, price action and moving up coin market cap would equate directly to total value lock. It was a big, and there's other nuances and there's other stuff you need to look at too. But the TVL was pretty high up there on a list of something that makes your chain more respectable, right? Now, I wanted to look and see, because I haven't even looked for Caspa on here yet because I've been off of this site for a while. But Caspa chain in general is not even registered here, but Casplex is. Right? Oh, and before we do that, look at the total value lock. So Ethereum has $65 billion locked up on its chain. Solana has $9 billion. Binance has $6 billion. Bitcoin $6 billion. Base $4 billion. Tron $4 billion. Right? And Tron is kind of the chain that I would kind of use as a what's the word I'm looking for? Like a marker, right, for Caspa, especially in its earlier days, once stable coins get added to the network, which, by the way, they are on a layer 2 right now. Go over and watch. I know CryptoPumps and Bitcoin Hoodie Guy made a video on the stable coins. They're coming very soon because Caspador had sent out an image to CryptoPumps about L2 stablecoins. Okay, so the stablecoins will be available very soon. They won't be available on the L1 yet. I think we're gonna have to wait for VProgs in order for that to happen. But to get back to TVL here, Tron does the vast majority of stablecoin transactions, right? And that's where I think Caspa can really eat in to something like a Tron stablecoin, like value that they have and transactions that they do on their chain, right? They're doing $4.5 billion in TVL. So that's value that's locked up on Tron. We have to come all the way down here. Caspa's not mentioned or listed on here, but Casplex, the L2 is, because that's basically the only L2 that's active right now that you can do anything on. And I want to show you guys the difference here. And what I think that all of us should do is track this, on a weekly, monthly, whatever, however often you do geek stuff on the computer and look at stuff. It's a very good thing to track and see if it's growing at any point. And I would imagine it starts growing more once Egra Labs is live and everything's, active and running, and some more protocols actually start building on Egra Labs as well. But we have to come all the way down here to... Where is it? Now I can't find it now that I'm on screen. Right here. Number 214, Casplex. And there's only 3 protocols, right? So there's only... once you go on to Casplex, there's only 3 different protocols that you can use to actually lock up value. So we want to see that grow as well, which means builders will be building DeFi, platforms and projects on top of Caspa. But surprisingly, I thought there was actually going to be less locked up volume, to be honest with you, because there's really not much you can do. But there's already 370.6 thousand dollars locked up on the Casplex L2, which is not, in crypto world, not a lot of money, but I don't think I was expecting even that much money to be locked up on the Casplex L2, to be honest with you. I don't know if I'm pleasantly surprised or not. I'm kind of like just, I don't know. It's not a whole lot of money, but it's also not a negligible amount of money either for something that's barely been around and only has 3 protocols that you can use on it, right? So so in order to get there, in case you guys wouldn't be able to figure it out, all you got to do is come up to the... You can't see it, of course. Let's move this over. DeFi Llama.io and you come down here to chains, right? And then you just type in the search bar up here, TVL, and it's going to give you a list of the top. So what we want to see, like, we want Caspa to climb CoinMarketCap, obviously, because that tells you it's gaining value against other chains. Climbing this chart, too, will actually tell you that the value of Caspa is moving up compared to other chains. So that's something that I am going to be continuously looking at, and it's something that if you guys are, interested in following certain metrics as well, that's a good one to follow because it gives you a really good insight to how much money people are trusting to put on certain protocols and certain chains. So, let's turn the internet off. How about that? And let's get into some questions here. Because I don't have too much time left, probably about 15 minutes. Okay, it looks like people want the cat to come back, so I will add it back. Caspa is way below 1 cent. It's over. Welcome to the chat, Infamous's cousin. Caspa is still building. Just because the price has gone down. I don't know if you've been in crypto very long, but that happens. There's times of very good price action, and then they take a break for a while, and sometimes it can be years. And the projects that still build, and the projects that are still, staying relevant on social media, they will probably come out of the ashes in good shape when it's all said and done. Wyatt, hey KDK and Caspian's a bit late to the live show. It's okay. It's okay. There's no punishment for tardiness here. Albane, top of the morning to ya. Clearly morning where you are. Here it's nighttime. I should say evening time. I don't see a way the money printers get turned on. Too much risk. The rate's coming down. I absolutely see that. They may tease money printing, but that's it. Well, it'll come on eventually. I don't know about this year. Like I said, I don't think that we're going to see much of anything this year. I think we're going to see downside. I think we're going to get a low in the summertime, and I think we possibly double bottom in Q4, like October. Because October, in theory, should be, if we're following, potential 4-year cycles still, and we're not in some sort of extended cycle, then October should be the bottom for Bitcoin. So I still, and maybe we get, a larger, deeper bottom in October. I don't know. But that should be the end of it, and then we start going up again, at least Bitcoin. So if you can just wait out one more year, and there could be other stuff that happens too. There's, the wild card of Donald Trump wanting to make sure the markets look good. And I don't know if crypto is involved with that, though. It could just be stock markets. But he's going to want things to probably look okay, right? So he can get Republicans reelected in the midterms. I don't know. That's a wild card. Or maybe it doesn't matter and, things are going to happen the way they're going to happen like they normally do in bear market years. I have no idea. But at some point, like if we're in a regular 4-year cycle and Bitcoin topped in October, we should see a bottom around October, right? and then Bitcoin will start going up again. And this next cycle, if that is, if we are continuing in these technical four-year cycles, right? I think that this next cycle is going to be very, very, very conducive to altcoins, because altcoins didn't really run as a whole. We didn't get an alt season. You got things that pumped here and there, but we didn't get a full-blown alt season like we did in 2021 or in 2017. And so my gut would tell me that this next cycle, since we all got crushed altcoin-wise in 2025, that's going to flush out a hell of a lot of people, right? Because they just don't trust it anymore. And they're probably just done with crypto in general. Yeah, I can tell the views on my videos and my subscriber counts have started dropping drastically. Just over the last few months. And so I know it's like that in all the crypto. Some of you haters are going to be like, well, you only talk about KASPA and it's a dead coin. I don't believe that. You're welcome to your own opinions. And talk about projects that I think are going to, once we get the next leg up in altcoins, after we go through some pain, I want to be in coins that are going to be around still. And KASPA, to me, regardless of what everybody's saying, is one of those coins. So, again, it's a matter of time. But the macro conditions, by the time, this year might suck, right? We might have a little bit of pumpage here and there if, Trump tries to get things moving. I don't know that they're going to get moving to a point where you have blow off tops. I don't know if I see that. But moving into 2027, 2028, and then potentially 2029, we should see, if we get a scenario like 2020, 2021, we should have, 1.5 to 2 good years of altcoins just going up. For the most part, going up. So, that's what I think anyways. I could be proven wrong, but we have a long time to wait until that happens anyway. So, Wyatt, KASPA is the only way. The rest is poop. Even though it doesn't seem or look like it now, I think that when it's all said and done, KASPA is going to have a seat at the table. And that's all we can ask for. It might not be the head of the table. Maybe it will. I don't know. But it will have a seat at the table. This is a good question, Caspa Bull. Do you still believe in Nacho? I would say, let me just say this. KRC 20s, I'm not sure are going to make it. I'm holding on. I think Goat is dead, by the way. That was the only other project besides Nacho that I was holding. And it just, on my on CoinMarketCap now, where I follow, right? I put in all my buys and sells, so it gives me a clear, because all my crypto's in different wallets, and it's annoying to go through and look at it. So I put everything and register it on CoinMarketCap so I can see what my total portfolio looks like. All it is lines. There's no more dollar values on Goat. Nacho still has dollar values. I would say if any coin is going to make it from the KRC20 bunch, it would probably be Nacho. But I also know that I don't even know if what is it, Anton? Is it Anton? What? Forgive me for not remembering his name. He was the founder of Nacho. It's on the tip of my tongue. Starts with an A, I think. Ashton. I'm not even sure he's working on Nacho as his top priority anymore. He's doing something else. So that gives me a little bit of pause as well. Maybe I can get some more clarity on that, but I think I heard him say that there's still a team working on Nacho, but he has moved on to something else, which doesn't give me a whole lot of confidence, I guess you could say, in Nacho. Let me put it this way. If you want to hold on to what you have and pray, then go ahead and do that. I would not buy any more. I thought we were going to have a bull market in 2025, and we wouldn't have had any other smart contracts technically out yet besides a very new Casplex, and the only thing you would have been able to do was KRC20s, and I think they would have gone up pretty drastically. But if we have to go into 2029, I don't know if any of those things are going to last that long. Because it's just a long time, and there's no value with them, right? They're meme coins, and meme coins usually die after initial pumps. Nacho, let me say this. I'm holding my Nacho. I haven't sold any because it's not all that much money. And I'm just going to wait it out and see what happens. That's just what I'm doing. Wyatt, Ashton's working with Eager Labs now. Okay. But I think they're going to migrate Nacho over to Eager Labs too. So maybe there is still a connection there and that he's still doing something with Nacho. But I could have sworn I heard him say that he's not even on that project anymore. He's not heading it, and there's still a team over there though. I don't know if he sold it to somebody else or he's paying other people to stay updated with it. My audio really go out? Yeah, I guess if my audio really went out, I apologize. I'm going to keep talking though because I only have about 5 more minutes left anyway. So I'm not going to get to all of your guys' questions today, unfortunately. Say good morning to Infamous. On Uphold, Caspa is listed as a store of value. That's interesting. I think it eventually will become that, but it'll also have many other use cases rather than just like Bitcoin where you can't do much because it can't scale, right? I appreciate it, Corey. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you for your donation. Okay, sounds like audio's okay. Might have been on your end. Whoever said that, I can't find it. Rally plays. Yeah, I think it was on your end, Rally. Yeah, Cass is a store of value and more. And I think we're going to see that in the future. Again, I don't know if it's going to be the head of the table, right? But in my opinion, I think it's going to have a seat at the table in whatever fashion that might be, which means it's going to stick around. And it is going to be important. Maybe not the most important, although it has a chance to do that. I think it will be important enough to stick around. and eat with the big boys at the table. Yeah, Corey, digital assets are getting tested big time since gold and silver are on a move. I think what's going to happen is gold and silver are going to run. They usually run first. I think we're going to correct. I think everything's going to correct when silver and gold like actually legitimately start correcting. I think that's going to scare people, and stocks will fall. Crypto will fall more. That's probably when we're going to go down to that 70K range, in my opinion. And, you know, we just have to wait it out. It's not what any of us wanted, but it's what we're getting, right? What are you going to do about it? So, on that note, guys, I got to take off. I appreciate everybody for joining. Smaller crowd today. I think as we move into the summer, the crowds are going to get smaller and smaller because, like I said, nobody wants to watch crypto videos right now except for the diehards like you guys. So I appreciate every single one of you. And again, thank you to Corey for the super chat. I am going to start, by the way, I'll end on this. Super chats in the near future are actually a portion of them. I haven't decided what percentage yet, and it's going to depend on if you guys even send super chats or not, because obviously you don't have to. But my fiance works at a what's the right way to put it? It's a cat. I don't know if it's a sanctuary of some sort. I can't think of the word. But what they do is they take care of cats and then they adopt them out to good families. And I think I'll probably put a portion of the proceeds towards that to help out cats, since it kind of goes with the theme of the channel. So I'll announce that when it's going to start, but and that depends on how many super chats actually come through, because if it's a couple dollars, then it's probably not worth giving a percentage of that in cents to some sort of cat sanctuary that's expecting thousands of dollars, even hundreds of dollars. I don't know. So we'll talk about it later, but that's just something I have in the works because it'd be nice to give back a little bit too. So anyways, appreciate you guys for coming in, for hanging out, and make sure you pay your bar tabs on your way out. Like the video, hit that subscribe button if you have not already. Helps me out immensely. And in the meantime, continue to pack your damn bags before it's too late. I'll see